I'm gonna cut to the chase here. This is probably a non-issue, but look, all right. This is a ridiculous moment in JoJo, but there's an overarching question. Does it make it bad? Well, I guess bad isn't exactly the word for it, but let's get to the scene first, right? After defeating Black Sabbath, Giorno goes on to complete his test with Pulpo, but since Black Sabbath had killed, Mario, the janitor, Giorno seeks out retribution as he views the attack on the janitor as an insult to his life. So, he had turned a gun into a banana. That was the end of Pulpo right there. Now, I understand, okay? That's a goofy kill. That's true. It is comical. And it's also supposed to be ironic because Pulpo, the big guy, gets blapped while eating. But just because it's comical, as a serious moment, does it really take away anything? Well, in the context of JoJo, I don't really think it does. See, Jonathan lit his hand up on fire, allowing him to get an effective shot against Dio without freezing up. It's different. Funny? Yeah, could be. Jotaro winning a fight as a kid against Alessi. The Mariah and Bastet fight in general, when you had Joseph and Avdol doing Koichi versus the Lock. Maybe. But Banana Gun is a different type of weird that I guess still falls in line with JoJo. And JoJo, over the course of its serialization, has gone from its groundbreaking dramatizations of the shonen genre into being a lot more grounded and human in its characters. But comedy very much still exists in JoJo through and throughout because, even if it is a seinen now, or it still has the shonen aspects of it, and in addition to that, removing comedy out of it would just be odd. JoJo at its very core understands and acknowledges the peculiar and absurd as its enormous part of the franchise. It has bizarre in its name, dude. Let's be honest here. And I guess that's the thing. Other franchises also have zany comedic moments in the areas, like Goku snatched Roshi's shades before the fight with Tien and then used them against Tien's solar flare. That was honestly hilarious when I saw that. And it was a great moment. But I guess that's the thing. I understand that funny things and serious moments aren't the issue. They're not. That's not the case. Like many things, the problem is the execution. When serious moments are robbed of their power by misplaced comedy, you get some of the worst moments that exist in modern media. And people remember when you do this. You'll get a buy, they'll be like, all right, doing it once, it's all right, it's not that bad of a thing. But then there's when you do it a lot, and that's how you get the most recent dialogue against the MCU movies, because many feel that there are a lot of serious moments that have been outright screwed up because of that. Oh, well, that happened. Sitcom-esque dialogue in the middle of their war crimes. But the Banana Gun isn't that. Or I don't think it is. Personally, I thought the scene was, funny. It's sick, but it isn't one of the moments in JoJo where I was all like, oh, I didn't like this. The contrast in the scene links up to Giorno's character and puts a unique use to his ability. In addition to that, he outsmarts the police and Pulpo to do this. It's cool, but what if someone, was like, nah, bro, I'm still not rocking with this scene. And honestly, at that point, or well, even before that, it's their opinion to have. Comedy, just like any other form of entertainment, is subjective. What may be funny to one person may not be funny to another. And that's not just limited to JoJo or anime in general. Because as a kid, I never thought that Naruto being that foul creature in the Kiba fight was hilarious. I'm like, oh, you nasty for that. And the Jiraiya Roshi Mineta archetype? Oof, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. And to a lesser extent, a lot of those late 2000s internet videos, like I guess Fred, that wasn't me. I didn't find it funny, but they had a lot of views to other people, and they liked it. At the same time, for the late 2000s, I did enjoy a lot of Abridged series and stuff like Super Hot Fire. I also think that seasons 1 through 3 of SpongeBob was prime TV comedy. But I have friends that haven't watched SpongeBob, you know? Not all media is meant for everyone, and JoJo has always been known for its bizarre and unique art style, right? And that's a big part of its appeal. But at the same time, it's not for everyone, and that's the game. And I know that it's expected of me as like a channel that does a lot of JoJo that you'd be like, oh, let's try your best to convert as many people to watching the franchise. But that doesn't do anything for me. Plus, I'm just a guy. I'm not Araki. You know, that's not all media is like that. Sometimes people just prefer more serious, dramatic anime that holds those serious tones the entire time, you know? While others may enjoy the oddities of JoJo and earlier JoJo that just come in and out and all that type of stuff. And I even think that in the later parts, like the majority of 5, and parts then on like 6, 7, 8, they become very grounded and humane with their characters. And I don't even think that JoJo is really that polarizingly odd, but at the same time, it's what I like, so I'm able to make that differentiation. And that's the thing. I've seen JoJo fans really go to bat for the franchise, and obviously people that like a thing will go to bat for it. But one of the things that seems illogical in terms of arguing with other people is when you hear a thing where someone's just all like, I just don't like it. You're like, oh, well, they have to have some sort of reason as to why they don't like it. And yes, while that may be true, there's no reason to press that. That's really odd to press something like that. If you go to a restaurant and order a thing and you're just all like, oh, I didn't like it. I mean, well, first of all, you already paid for it, but the idea is like, oh, you didn't like it. You don't really have to explain yourself as to why you don't like it. True that someone else could improve on some sort of thing, but if it's just to an audience and fellow fans and yada, 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 you don't really have to go to bat for something like that. And yes, my title is misleading because it says an argument in favor, but at the same time, I argue for the people that don't want to consume something just because they don't want to. Not liking something is a good enough reason as to not get into it and to not continue it. I have franchises that I like, and I've put some stuff on the channel, and not every fan watches the stuff because they're like, hey, I came for the JoJo stuff instead of that. And that makes complete sense. And I'm never gonna hold it against people for something like that. It's really odd. But that's about it. Enjoy what you can. Enjoy what you do. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next time. Until then, peace out, and Godspeed.